I am playing at the Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, one of the busiest card rooms in all of America. It's my second session of the trip. I lost $4,000 in the first day, and I am here to get it back. I've got my chips, I'm heading to the table, buying in for $1,500, the table maximum. I fold the 7-deuce offsuit, and I'm ready to go. Let's get after it. Alright guys, we're 45 minutes into the session and not a lot has happened so far. Pretty tame start, just kind of bobbing and weaving. Small pots here and there like this king jack offsuit in the hijack. The low jack is limped in for $10. I make it $50 to go. He makes the call. Flop comes down 9-6 deuce rainbow. I see bet for $60. After a few seconds, he makes the call. Turn is a 10, gives me that gut shot. I've got the 2 overcards to the board, so I bet out for $175, putting pressure on the low pairs, and he is just gonna let it go, scooping in a nice pot. Like I say, really tame start. The game isn't great, to be honest, but we're just going to have to grind it out. Next up, I look down at 6-5 suited in the small blind. It folds round to me, and the euro to my left, I ask him, do you want to play or do you want to chop? He doesn't even look at me. He just grunts, play. Little does this guy know, I have done a 6-hour masterclass for upswing poker on blind versus blind spots. I'm basically unbeatable. I raised it on up to $35. He is going to make the call. And the flop comes down 10-4-3 with 2 spades and 1 diamond. Open-ended straight draw. I bet out for $35. And he raises. He makes it $125 to go. Action is back on me. And I think we've got a very easy call here. I make the call. Turn is the ace of hearts. I check it on over to my opponent. And he is just going to check it on back. River is the king of spades. Flush draw gets there, and we don't have a blocker, but we've also got 6 high. So I bet out. I bet out for $240, trying to rep a hand like ace 4 or a flush. And he very, very quickly folds. Get wrecked, Euro. In all seriousness, my blind versus blind module for Upswing Poker, it's something I'm very proud of. You can access it if you're a lab member. If you're not a lab member, use my link to join so Upswing thinks I'm doing a good job. There's a link in the description of this video. Also, the euro in this hand, he turned out to be really nice, but he did grunt play at me when I asked if he wanted to play or chop, but he turned out to be a really nice guy. Anyway, game is getting a little short here, a little ragged. Like I say, it's not been great, but once again, I am Jack King off. This time on the button. Early position is going to limp in, and I raise it on up to $50. He is going to make the call. Feels a little deja vu, to be honest. We go heads up to the flop, and it comes down jack 5 deuce with 2 spades. Good start here with this strong top pair. I bet out for $50, and after a few seconds, the limper is going to make the call. Turn is the 8 of diamonds, brings 2 flush draws. My opponent checks it on over to me, and I decide to size up to $175 here. I don't want to overbet because if he's got a hand like 6-5 suited, he's just going to fold. But at the same time, I want to charge the draws, so I like my size here. I bet out for $175. And again, after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call. Half the deck is going to complete a flush, but the 4 of hearts is relatively clean in my opinion. And I think we want to get that third street of value. So I bet out for a meaty $350. My opponent immediately cuts out massive raising chips. It looks like it's going to be about $1,150 or so. I'm snap folding if he raises here, but after about 45 seconds, he then downgrades to calling chips. And then after another 45 seconds, he downgrades to just folding his hand. I had no idea if he was going to raise or call or fold, but I was folding to a river raise for sure. A couple of nice pots coming my way so far. I'm up a very cool, very easy $500. But the next 2 hours are a complete snooze fest. I'm just folding over and over and over again, just waiting for hands. None are going to come. I'm going to bleed a little bit back. So it's time for a quick break to grab some food from Mr. Banks. It's the best restaurant in the Commerce Casino. I've got a nice chicken and spinach omelette. It's absolutely delicious. A bit of pre-soccer fuel. That's right, I called it soccer before. Back to the game and finally into the OVS. That's optimal vlogging seat for all you non-Bradowans out there. First orbit back at the table, I pick up ace jack of spades in the small blind. Early position raises to $30, middle position calls, and the Commerce Phil Ivey makes it $110 to go in the hijack. I'm going to bust out my first and hopefully last cold 4-bet bluff of the trip. I would normally use ace queen here. I think ace jack is a little too wide in theory, but this dude is super aggro, and the other two players are non-pro, so he should be squeezing quite wide here. I make it $275 to go. Both the first players get out the way. Action is back on Phil Ivey. And a bit of a relief as it just gets through. That could have gotten really messy if he called and we'd seen a flop and all that stuff. And I'm happy to take this one down pre-flop. Just want to let you guys know on the 20th of October for 7 days, I'll be running my own leaderboard on Coin with 5 places paid, and it's a most hands played promo, a really good one for the grinders. 3rd, 4th, and 5th are going to win cold hard cash, but the top 2 places will get to play with me in a 200 NL cash game where you get to keep anything you win. Full details are going to be on my Instagram page all week. I'm really excited to run my own promo. Next up, I've got another suited ace. This time it's ace deuce suited in the hijack. I raise it on up to $30. And the small blind makes it $100 to go. This is a small 3-bet. I've got no reads on this player. He's been a bit quiet so far, probably in his 50s, but the price is good and we're in position. Obviously, when we get a better price, we want to widen our calling range, and I think a hand like ace deuce suited is much better than a hand like queen 10 offsuit, for example. I reluctantly make the call, and we see the flop come down ace 10-3 with 2 diamonds. That's a pretty good start here, flopping top pair. But then he bets out for $400. This is like 2x pot. I'm not calling this. It's a bit weird to call a 3-bet and flop top pair, but I just let it go. I show a deuce and I say big fold, big fold. And the whole table is like, whoa, you had pocket deuces, huh? And I'm just like, sure, why the fuck not? Very next hand, I've got king, queen of diamonds in early position. I raise it on up to $30. The button is the same guy from the last hand. He is going to make the call, and the big blind calls as well. We go 3 ways to the flop. And it comes down jack 6-3 all clubs. Not really what I was looking for with king queen of diamonds. I am just going to check it on over to the button, and he is just going to check it on back. Turn is the queen of spades to give me top pair. Really happy to see that. Big blind is going to check. He's very aggressive. He can do a lot of check raising here and put me in a tough spot. So I decide to check as well. And the button is now going to take a stab. He bets out for $100. Big blind gets out the way. Kind of happy to see that. And it's a pretty big bet with top pair. But I do decide to make the call. I'm not folding top pair just yet. River is an offsuit 4. I check it on over to the button, and he bets out this time for $200. Now, I've instantly made up my mind that I'm just folding this. I think it's a good spot to just let it go. I'm posturing for about 10 seconds or so, and around about 8 seconds into this 10-second posture, the curiosity kicks in, and now I'm starting to talk myself into calling, and now I'm reaching for chips, and I'm making the call. He's got ace-queen offsuit. Yep, that'll do it. Nice hand. Not the worst call I've ever made in my life, but I think maybe we should get away, especially after that big bet on the turn. It's a bit of a slip up there, and I'm just hovering. I'm only up about $110 or so. I can't seem to kick on and have a really nice day, but maybe this ace-king suited on the button is gonna do the job. I raise it on up to $30. The small blind makes the call, and we go heads up to 10-8-5 all diamonds. I have flopped the nuts. My opponent checks it on over to me. I bet out for $30, and he instantly raises me. He makes it $75 to go. His chips are in there before mine. I decide to juice up the pot. I put in a rare flop 3-bet. I make it $225 to go. Small blind, again, very quickly is going to make the call here. Looking for a clean turn, but it is the queen of diamonds. Maybe that is going to kill my action. But on the other hand, I've now got a royal flush draw. It'd be really cool to make a royal flush here. The small blind checks it on over to me, and I decide to bet out for $250. If he's got a 2-pair hand, or maybe just like the 9 of diamonds or something like that, I want to keep him in the pot. So I bet out this custom $250 size, and it does the job. My opponent makes the call. River is a 4. Nothing changes. I've obviously still got the nuts. The board didn't pair. And I decide to bet out for $650. He instantly says, I've got to just give up. And he shows me 9-7 of diamonds. He also flopped a flush. I show my ace-king of diamonds. And then we realize the jack of diamonds would have been the bad beat jackpot. I can't believe how close we've gotten. Just a jack of diamonds on the river, and we would have hit the super jackpot at the Commerce Casino. I actually step away from the table and look up at the board and see how much it would have been. $143,000 at the table. I thought it would be like 20K or something. I look up, I see 143K. I am absolutely spewing.
Oh my god, $143,000. I've had to step away from the table. I took a little look at the board to see how much it would have been. And I wish I hadn't looked, to be honest. $143,000. My percentage would have been tax-free as well. Very lucky in that regard, but oh, it would have been so sweet. Just a little jack of diamonds on the river. It's not to be though, as my mother says, if it's for you, it won't go by you. Bit of a tame day other than that. It's been a lot of fun, but jack of diamonds, one-time dealer.
I have hit one jackpot in my life. I had pocket queens versus ace 6 on ace 4 deuce ace ace, and I was able to win. I actually got stacked in that hand, and while they were filling out the paperwork, I lost another like 6k pot. So it was a tiny bit anticlimactic, but it was really, really fun. Any of you guys ever hit a jackpot, please comment below. Relive it in the comments. I love to hear bad beat jackpot stories. Back to the game now, and it's a bit of a madhouse today between this loose goose about to pop off in just a few seconds, and I don't know, apparently the Dodgers did a thing. If it's not soccer, guys and girls, I just don't want to know. Next up, like I said, there's a really loose goose in the game. He's raised it on up to $75 from middle position. This is his standard open size. The button is going to make the call, and with my king-queen offsuit in the big blind, I go ahead and make the call. I don't normally peel this hand versus a 7.5x open, but this dude is playing every hand, and he's absolutely popping off. The flop comes down ace, ace, deuce with 2 hearts. He's going to c-bet for $125. Button gets out the way. I fold, and I fold face up because I want the information, and I'm going to get the information. He's got king 7 offsuit. He doesn't even have a heart. This dude is absolutely popping off, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, I raise it on up to $30 in the cutoff with queen 6 of diamonds. A little bit loose, but the button is doing that thing where they hold their cards up to fold before I have acted. And sure enough, the button gets out the way. Small blind gets out the way. The big blind is the loose goose. He is going to make the call. And the flop comes down ace, ace, 3 rainbow. Another ace, ace, x flop. He's just going to lead on into me for $150. I obviously just let it go. And he shows me a deuce. It is the loose deuce goose. This guy is absolutely insane. It's a lot of fun to play with. And next up, I've got 10-8 of diamonds in the cutoff. I raise it on up to $25 because this player is now blind raising. He says no look, and makes it $80 to go out the small blind. I am obviously going to make the call here with a pretty hand in position. And I have reviewed the footage. He did not look at his cards pre-flop, but as we can see here, he does look at his cards just before the flop is dealt. And it comes down to ace, 8, 5 with 2 diamonds. Really good start here, and he's going to slam in $275. I ask him, have you looked yet? And he just repeats, no look. Now, I know he hasn't looked pre-flop. I saw that, but I don't know if he has looked at his cards before the flop was dealt. However, I've been around in this game long enough to know that people don't always tell the truth at the poker table, so I'm kind of taking it with a pinch of salt. I know he didn't look pre-flop, but I don't know if he's telling the truth now. I'm definitely not believing him. I'm just approaching the rest of this hand with a little bit of skepticism. Anyway, I call the $275 c-bet, and the turn is an offsuit 3. I was just hoping for some instant service to make this really nice and easy. He's actually bet out for $500 before the turn has even been dealt. Dude is just slamming money in, just like he's done every other hand so far. Again, nothing else I can do. I make the call. Before the river is dealt, he slides in a rack of $400, and the river is a board pairing 5. I just don't know what's going on in this hand. Now, I am about to call, and I want to reiterate the point. I am not basing my decision on this guy playing blind. I know he didn't look pre-flop, but I am not basing my river call decision on that. It's because he's a blaster. He's been showing bluffs left and right, but on the river, before I make the call, he does say something to me, which in hindsight, that should have made me consider folding. I am going to make the call, and he's actually got quads, which is a bit ridiculous. He was definitely blind pre-flop, and it is a really dumb hand. I don't begrudge my river call, but when he said what he said, I'm not going to go into it. I'd love to play it for you guys, but I'm not allowed to. I should have gotten away. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I got caught up in the fun of the moment and everything that was happening. Everyone was laughing and joking throughout the hand. And I didn't think the river spot through as much as I should, especially after he said what he said. Quads, though. After this hand, the loose goose is going to play no look for 20 minutes, where he blind raises every hand to $100. Every single hand. And everyone at the table is just like, folding. I've got like 6-3 offsuit, 6-5 offsuit, 5 deuce suited. I am desperate to get in a hand with this guy, but other players are actually getting annoyed, and one of the other regs actually steps away from the table. You couldn't pay me to leave this table at this moment. I eventually get ace 6 of clubs. I min raise to $20, and when the no look blind 3-bet comes into $100, I just shove it in for $1,500. Maybe this is crazy. I think it's completely fine versus a no look blind raise to $100. He peels his cards. He shows me a king and then says, if the other card is an ace or a king, I'm going to call you. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit, buddy. He's got king 9 offsuit, and he does just let it go. And then, unfortunately, he leaves the table. This is the biggest of size. This dude was so much action. A really crazy hour or two of poker. Loose Goose, if you're watching, you're a fucking legend, my friend. I play for another 90 minutes or so. I don't think I want a single hand in that time, so eventually I rack up my chips. I wish everyone well, and I head on over to the cashier. I am jumping into an Uber and racing across town because I've got a soccer game on a beautiful NFL field. I am absolutely buzzing to play. I use an app called Pezzo Soccer when I'm in Los Angeles. Anyone who's in LA looking to play pickup games, it is the absolute nuts. All right, guys, that is the end of our second episode. Results for the day are on your screen. 0 for 2 so far. Hopefully that turns in the next session. So close to making a royal flush. I actually flopped a royal flush over at the win over the summer. I made a vlog about it. It was a really great episode. Please do check it out if you haven't seen it yet. That's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Next episode will be out in a few days. See you then.